Thanks for joining us today on the Carolina Justice Report. I'm Rainey Romero with the lovely law firm. Today I'm joined with attorneys Sarah Austin and Amy Lawrence, and we're chatting all about the Murdaugh murders. We are back for another update because it has been the 1 year anniversary. Stay tuned. So we are back. You guys have been with us for the whole Murdaugh murders discussions that we've been having. I think this is number 5, and so we are doing another update for June. But we appreciate those of you that have been watching all of our previous videos and episodes on YouTube. Keep watching. Let us know what you want to know, and we'll definitely address it for you. But gosh, there's been a lot that's happened since our last update. So last time we were chatting, it was all about, kind of some of the questions that were in mind of who was involved. There was a lot of people that were being brought up. The police chief of the area, we were looking into Maggie's bank account, and we were talking about who was the other guy that got arrested?
Corey Fleming.
We were chatting about. So a lot's happened since then. Lots of evidence seeming to mount for Alec. Not looking good for him. So Amy, what are some of the stuff we've found out lately?
Well, we've had lots more indictments.
So piggybacking off of our last episode, we were talking about Corey Fleming and Russell Lafitte and Gloria Satterfield and her case and their involvement, and there were indictments for that. And they just came out and said that they're going to actually exhume Gloria Satterfield's body.
Right. Which is a big deal.
This is a huge deal.
I mean, that shows that there's enough evidence, obviously, that there's questions, so they want to pull her body back up. But I don't really know, what can they find at this point from Gloria? Are they looking for a cause of death more? Or
Right. I think that the big question now is they're questioning how she actually died.
Gotcha.
They're looking for...
anytime you have... we all might know 1 or 2 people who have died in a mysterious way, right? But when you have body after body after body after body that's tied to you and your family and your home, it's... where there's smoke, there's fire, and we need to look.
Right.
And I think that the Satterfield family, they want answers to what happened to their mom, and they deserve those answers.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. So, we'll keep you updated on that. That hasn't, been released yet on what they're doing. I don't even think she's been,
exhumed yet.
Right. So that should be interesting to see what they find. But who was the other person? So Corey Fleming. Now I don't know if the other guy, we talked about him being indicted.
Russell Lafitte.
Lafitte. Now who was he?
So Russell Lafitte was the CEO and president of Palmetto State Bank.
Right.
And we learned through all these indictments that he was okay. So anytime in personal injury law, we always hear these cash advancements against your personal injury claim. We see them on TV all the time, and we hate them, right? We hate those.
They're not good for
We have them actually built into our fee agreements that we don't allow it. With the exception, sometimes we have an exception every blue moon if we have a family that's in a horrible spot. And the reason why we're against those is that they're these extreme high interest rate loans. So, we've had clients that will borrow $5,000 against their personal injury claim, and they end up owing $30 when it's all said and done, which is just mind blowing. So it's
not a good financial move for anybody.
Right. So we've got Russell Lafitte at Palmetto State Bank, who is giving these loans on behalf of Alec Murdaugh's clients, and Alex Murdaugh is actually suggesting them to get them and sending them to Palmetto, and then but also the law firm, from what I understand, PMPED, was sending clients there to get these high interest loans. If we saw that he was sending them to Palmetto, the only way I would ever send someone to get one of those is if we knew that there was like an extremely low interest loan, right? That would be helpful for that family, and then they wouldn't end up owing 5 times what they're borrowing. I just can't even imagine sending someone that close, and so they've been charged with conspiracy.
It had to be a scheme between the law firm and the bank just to sort of help the bank.
It's like a continuous
and then I think
of clients, and they're referring each other back.
And Russell Lafitte's name is involved in almost all of these scamming sort of transactions, even the one recently where they found out that Alec Murdaugh bought a funeral home in Georgia
Yeah, he's
This is so
approving the wire.
And a hearse. Russell Laffitte was involved in that transaction.
He's sending the wire. Okay, I don't know presidents of bank who approve wires.
Now, why would I mean this is so weird to me. So did he buy the funeral home prior to the deaths and all of that, or after?
Prior, right?
Prior to Paul and Maggie's death.
Yeah, death.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was bought in Georgia, you said, right?
Right. So it was not, some attorneys we've seen have made comments that, genius, having a funeral home to get personal injury cases, wrongful death cases, and which I think is sick and borderline criminal in itself and unethical.
Definitely unethical.
Definitely unethical. But on the other hand, this is not, he didn't buy a funeral home in South Carolina, he bought a funeral home in Georgia where he is not licensed.
Right.
Which is even more suspect and weird. And, we've all seen Ozark, right?
That's right where my mind.
Right. Oh, immediately. We all went to Ozark.
I haven't seen Ozark. You'll have to fill me in here.
So
It's
they're
about
using
drugs
it to
and murder.
Drugs, murder, money laundering.
And money laundering, basically.
And getting rid of bodies when, things get hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it just feels sketchy. Also, Corey Fleming was licensed in Georgia, so
Yeah. Maybe they're all tied together.
I don't know.
I don't even know, for the lawyers in this case, I don't even know how you work this thing up. There's just so many details.
And it's crazy because we know all this money was stolen and Russell Laffitte was part of it. And then all of a sudden we see this, I think, was Corey the one that paid for it? They go to the World Series in a privately chartered plane paid for with the money. And it's Russell Laffitte, Corey Fleming, Alec Murdaugh. I mean, it's just insane.
Yeah.
It's just...
And the
just
lawyers
I don't think it can get any crazier.
and the lawyers digging against them, it just gets crazy because there's so many different aspects to the case. You have Mallory Beach's lawyers looking for where the money went. You have all the victims that they stole from looking for where the money went. You have the FBI and, state law enforcement, I guess, looking for where the money went and bodies at this point and drugs. I don't know what they're looking for.
Well, when this goes to trial, I mean, is this just going to be, do each of these things have to be tried separately? Are these trials just going to go on forever? Is it one big trial?
I'm going to give you the lawyer answer. It depends.
Nobody knows yet.
It depends.
Okay.
Chances are the murder would be separate. Maggie and Paul's murder, if whoever's charged with that, will be separate. Because, this would be a trial that never ended, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And it will depend on motions, and because, any defense attorney is going to file motions to sever them. That way they're tried separately. And then there also might be a plea. We don't know.
I feel like because the investigation really is still pending and
It's
still
all still in the
developing,
air.
which is interesting that it's been a year from the murders and they're still investigating.
Well, and stuff keeps coming up, so it's
Right.
just insane. We're at the 1-year anniversary, of Paul and Maggie. They died June 7th of 2021, and so a lot of people are really shocked that there have not been any official charges filed yet a year later. But with so much still coming out, it's just...
Yeah, but what we do know is there is really some in-depth, active investigation going on, which is always good.
Yeah.
As lawyers, I don't think there can be ever too much information and too many things brought to light. I think anytime, more is more. And we want to know everything because the only way to bring truth to light is to know it all.
Right.
And evaluate it from an educated point of view, with all the evidence to look at. And so now we have SLED, who's getting involved with outside agencies outside of South Carolina, which I think is good.
Right.
Because it's outside the reach of any kind of look of impropriety or anything like that. And so we have, we've learned that Alec Murdaugh had high-powered blood spatter on his shirt.
Right.
Which I know you've been giving me hell.
Giving her grief because
Yeah.
you watched the last episode.
Yeah.
Which you haven't. Go back and watch it. But on the last episode, towards the end, Amy says, "You just don't kill your kids.
You don't.
just
And I
don't
still
do that. They
feel
don't kill
that way. Yeah. I just,
So as evidence piles up against
Right.
Alec,
When life gets ugly